Nicky today, and her background is very much of the kind of the media. She's media focused. She was a previous working for an ad agency, a designer, a blogger, and she's now moved into to become a coach. And one of her kind of key strengths is taking people's social media pages and their brand and their business onto the next level. Now, today we're going to kind of talk about all things Canva and kind of moving people's social media platforms from where they are at the moment. And Nicky's here to kind of give us 5 top tips to kind of really push it on to create more brand awareness, drive more business, and improve people's social media presence. So thank you so much for joining us today, Nicky. It's great to have you on board, and we're looking.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much. Good
stuff. Well, look, no one wants to hear from me, so it's it's all over to you. We're looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So, hello everybody. Barcelona, London, Dubai. Crikey, we are all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen now, and just bear with me. And I'm actually sharing my screen to a presentation used in Canva, okay? So I am a massive Canva advocate because it's something that most people can use without having to have a design background, or they don't have to get their head around Adobe Suite. So this is why I tend to present in Canva, to show people how easy it is. You just make slides like you do in all of the other different ways that you can do it, and we just present like so. So hopefully you can see my screen. I'm just gonna, what happened, I'm gonna tell you a little story. What happened a couple of weeks ago is I was doing a presentation, and I was chatting away, and about 20 minutes into the presentation, they said, am I meant to be seeing something? Unfortunately, yes, they were. So yeah, so I unfortunately was showing my second screen, not my first screen. So I'm just going to whip through here. Now, I don't know whether you guys have found it. I've had a real problem with the internet. I don't know whether it's because there's so many people on Zoom. I'm not too sure. So hopefully this will work okay. Right then, so here I am, Nicky Williams, giving you 5 tips to stand out from the crowd on social media. Okay, I'm Nicky Williams, social media simplified founder, digital marketer, and design expert. So as previously said, who the devil am I? I have 30 years experience in business. I started out in an ad agency. I had an alternative life as a competition winner, winning huge competitions. I like to live life out of the box somewhat, and then I was a blogger. I've had numerous businesses, and I coach as well. And I like to use everything that I've learned in this journey to support others, to attract the kind of people into your inbox that will get your energy and business flowing in the right direction. And just before the end of last year, I was also asked to be a Canva certified creative. What that means is I get to try out things before you guys get it. And it means that I can feed back to the Canva community about what works and what doesn't. And I feel quite privileged to be part of that process. So what we're going to cover today is what is a promotional graphic, focusing on your ideal client in your graphics, where do we use graphics in our customer funnel, and our brand consistency. And then I'm going to talk to you about Canva and using that platform. Okay, if there's any questions at the end, then we can go through it all and, go through your questions, because I just can't see the chat at the moment for some reason. So let me see if I can do that. No, we'll go through it at the end. So what is a promotional graphic? Now, I'm interested to know your thoughts, because so many people say, oh, it's an ad. It's just something that maybe just you advertise one of your services. But in actual fact, a promotional graphic is every image or graphic you put on social media and beyond, because it represents your shop window. Therefore, it promotes your business. So be really mindful about everything you're putting out there, because that is making a first impression. And most people are looking at your image first before they even look at your content. And if the image doesn't grab their attention, they're certainly not going to be reading your content. Okay, so make it worthwhile. So a well-designed promotional graphic can be a great way to drive traffic through your funnel. Okay, we're going to talk about funnels in a moment. You are the face of your business. So in the absence of you, your social media platforms should be the face of your business, okay? So remember that when you're not on there, and if somebody suddenly comes across you, they want to be looking on your social media platforms and they want to see what represents your business, okay? So we don't want to necessarily see a girls' night out or going, you know, if it's not connected to your business. So be very mindful about what you're putting out. If you're putting out a picture of your Sunday roast, for example, unless you are actually in the community of people that are, you know, eating recipes, that sort of thing, nobody really needs to see a picture of your Sunday roast. Okay, so every image and graphic will either promote your business or repel your ideal client. So let's see what this actually means in real terms. So all your Facebook covers, your Twitter, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, all of them should be representing your business, okay? This is free advertising space, okay? So many people I see on LinkedIn don't use their free advertising space, and you are bananas if you're not using it, okay? So make the most of it, update it regularly, make sure that you are putting your latest promotion, your latest program, your membership, whatever it is you're offering, keep it updated, because more often than not, especially on LinkedIn, when somebody goes to connect with you, they will check your profile first, okay? And that is really what stands out. And if you've got the blue screen, LinkedIn screen above, that's wasting space, okay? And also it doesn't give the best image to that person that's wanting to connect with you, okay? So be mindful of that. Okay, so this is the list of all of the things that you should be using to advertise your business, okay? So when you're looking at your promotional graphics, and a promotional graphic is anything you put out there, so it doesn't have to be something that's just an advert. It could be something that is part, if you've got a Facebook group and you're just doing interactional posts in there, make sure it is branded, okay? But when you are promoting a product or service, you should use images that attract your ideal client. And we're going to talk about that more in detail in a second, okay? So you should be showing in that image the problem or the solution or the transformation or an image of your ideal client. Be really mindful of the images of people you use, because unless it actually resonates with that ideal client, they will be repelled by it. For example, your ideal client could be a 45-year-old female that is menopausal, and that is why you're going for that ideal client. But if you put an image of a 28-year-old, you won't be drawing your ideal client in, okay? Whether they're in a suit, whether they're in casual, all the rest of it, you have to think about the images you're using, because when you put images out, unless that really grabs their attention, they will not look at your content, okay? Showing the transformation is a really good way of attracting your ideal client. It works really, really well with graphics, okay? Because they don't really want to be reminded of their problem. They want you to tell them how you can sort their problems out with the solution. If you are advertising a service or product, I very, very much advise you putting a price on it, because it saves time on both your parts. There's no point putting no price on there and it's actually $499 to start working with you, but somebody might go to you thinking that you might be, you know, £40 to start working with you, okay? We want to weed out the people that can't afford you and attract the people that can afford you, okay? There's lots of people that use graphics and they do not put contact details on there, okay? There is no point putting a lovely promotion out there and nobody knows how to get hold of you. Okay, so you need to put a direct number, email address, one-step way of getting hold of that person. Now, if you put a website, what's going to happen is that person might think, okay, I'll put that website in. Then they have to search. And as soon as they have to search for something, they're bored and they'll move off. So to make everything much simpler. Add direct links to all of your details, okay? Don't blind them with science and give them too many services, too many products. One product, one problem, one solution, one price. If it's a starting from price, put starting from price. That is the way I see it works really, really well with my clients. And there's one really important factor to remember whilst you are designing and marketing on social media. Okay, and this is your ideal client, and we call it Ideal Client Avatar, or ICA. Okay, now we have to really, really focus. And I know a lot of people suddenly go, la la, not listening, I don't want to talk about ideal clients. But actually, it's imperative to hone down your services, to really pitch your imagery and your content on social media when you're in a massive room of people. So you are in the O2 there and you're trying to find your ideal client. Now, if they are aged between 25 and 45 and you're going, anyone, 25 to 45, anyone, just let me know. Are you in the house, right? We don't need that. We need to know what age they are, what sex they are, what their nationality is, where they live, etc., etc. And then you start honing down who you're talking to. And then those people start listening, okay? Because they think, you are actually talking to me. So ideal client quite often is someone who finds the perfect solution to their problems or needs in the services or products that your business provides, okay? If you haven't offered a service yet and you don't know who that ideal client is, we have to sort of, let's pretend, who would we love to work with? Until we start building up a client database and we work out who we enjoy working with, we have to let's pretend, okay? Because we have to start somewhere, okay? Otherwise, you're just looking for a needle in a haystack. This time last year, I narrowed it down to health and wellness for me, health and wellness professionals. I know exactly her name, where she lives, her children, her stepchildren. I know everything about her. And when I did that deep dive back in, I think it was February last year, so just over a year ago, I went from having half my books filled with design clients to having a waiting list, because I was absolutely inundated, so much so by July I had stopped working with one-to-one clients and I ended up doing one-to-many because I could not cope with the amount of volume of work that's coming my way. So I'm telling you this because I know it really, really works, okay? I'm not going to go deep diving into ideal client avatar now, but you really have to look at the demographics and psychographics of your ideal client avatar, okay? And the reason why we do this is because we need to get to know them really, really well. Because when you're writing your content, as I'm saying here, they are thinking, who's going to save me with this service? You know, it could be a VA, for example, and you know, they're just looking for somebody, help me, help me. They're headed in a spin. They don't really want to know too much about you, but they want to know how you're going to help them, okay? So we need to focus our imagery, our graphics, and our promotion and our material that we put out in our content towards what we're going to do for these people, okay? And remember to keep on putting testimonials out there. Get the testimonials out there. We need to know our ideal client like our sister, our best friend, our brother. And when we do that, when we are writing our content or designing our content, we really know what their deep problems are, and we really know what they need from us. And you'll get to the point where people are saying, my God, I think you're reading my mind. How are you doing that? And this is where you want to be, because then they have the connection. That's when they start coming into your world. That's when they start noticing you more and more. Your ideal client has a timeline, and it's quite often, especially in the therapy, you know, health and wellness therapy world, it's quite often used several steps back. And I've also found it when it's in the wedding industry, they've experienced certain products or services and they think, nope, they want to make a difference to how they have had that service delivered, and they want to make it better. So as long as you are a couple of steps ahead of your ideal client, you can teach them and they can learn from you, okay? And that's why you can learn from, they can learn from you, because you have so much more knowledge that you can offer them. So we're just going to talk slightly about funnels, only briefly, and I'm not too sure if anybody, Paul, has commented on funnels in this lovely community as yet. But a funnel is really, really important when it comes to ideal clients and bringing them into your world and attracting, using graphics to draw them closer. So this is our normal customer funnel when they're strangers, and then you're attracting them with your content, the great content you're putting out that's speaking directly to them. Then they start knowing that this person, like, really knows their stuff. I'm going to start visiting them. Okay, that's when you start to convert them into leads, closing them and delighting them. Okay, but where I focus mainly with my clients and my membership is turning them from strangers to visitors. And you can do that by running a challenge, offering a lead magnet, which just shows that your knowledge base and shares with them everything you know. And that is where you want to draw them in, okay? Once they're visitors, you just continually offer them great knowledge on your unique zone of genius, and it'll naturally feed down into converting, closing, and then you'll have promoters. And I've got quite a few in my world who go around and just literally say, oh my goodness, this woman is amazing. And that's what you want. You want people to be absolutely delighted with you, and they want to tell the world about you. So we're going to just briefly touch on brand consistency as well. When I say briefly, it is a massive subject. Okay, but I just want you to think about the examples I'm putting up here, and then think about what you are putting on social media. So this is one of my members who runs a digital design for educators that is focused in Japan, actually. She lives in England now, but she's focused on Japanese educators. And now across all of her social media, it all looks cohesive, and that is what you want, even down to the profile pictures, okay? We need to make sure that wherever your people find you, they know where you are, and they know what you look like, they know what you're going to offer them, and they feel comfortable, okay? I'm just going to show you a couple more examples. This is another of my members who's a photographer, and once again, this is her website on the left-hand side. You can see the style of imagery she does as a photographer. You can see her. Now, her profile picture is slightly different across her social media, but it's not. It's in the same sort of style. It's her with a camera, and you would still recognize her, okay? And as you can see, as a photographer, her feed would be beautiful, okay? This is another lady. She is a VA, or yeah, she's a VA, and she lives in France, actually, and she is on the world of LinkedIn as well, and she's just putting herself out there, and she's just an amazing individual. And she's just started working on putting her banners and making sure that she is cohesive. Again, whichever social media platform she's on, you would recognize her, okay? So we need to make sure that our free advertising space is, utilized. So again, with your feeds, in your groups, in your Instagram, whether it's Facebook, you need to make sure that your images, your colors, your fonts are all very similar, okay? What you don't want is anything jarring. I can go really deep dive into branding, but it's just too much for this session. But you just have to be very, very mindful that we don't start getting shiny object syndrome, and we look at somebody's graphic, go, oh, that's nice, that's a nice bit of gold glitter. I'll put that on my graphics. No, 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 don't do it. So ignore the shiny object syndrome. Stick to your branding. If you cannot afford to get your branding done for you, I'm an absolute advocate for doing it yourself, absolutely fine, but stick to maximum 5 colors, but I'd rather you stick to 3 colors and 3 fonts, okay? And just stick to it, and then all of it will be cohesive. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. This is another one that, again, you would see it and you would recognize it. And these are some lead magnets. So as I said, when you want to convert and change your audience into visitors, you can offer them a lead magnet. And Canva is an incredible platform to be able to build your lead magnets in and make them look professional. So we're going to go through a couple of examples here. Health and wellness professional there. And then we've got somebody that is an alcohol coach. Yeah, that's what I'll call her. And the other thing I would say is create master templates. So once you've created your templates, you leave that in your Canva file, and then you literally just copy them over. So you never touch that master template, and you just copy it over. That keeps you and your brand cohesive, and it doesn't take you off on different tangents. You know that whether it's your stories, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, everything will look very similar because the layout is the same. You're just uploading new images and writing new text on it. Okay, it's a really, really good way and good practice to get into. So then also, if you've got a VA working for you, then you can just send them the file and they know exactly how you like things laid out. So why Canva? Okay, it's simple to learn and it's great value. As I said, I'm a massive user of Photoshop, Illustrator, and Lightroom, but equally I understand the need for a platform that makes it easier to use, okay? And Canva does that. Not on mobile. That's my little insert there. Mobile is not very good for Canva, okay? It's better to be done on your laptop, your desktop, because it's got many more functions. I used to run a Facebook group, which I closed a few months ago for various reasons. But instead of getting the training from there now, you can actually get it from Canva's design school, which used to be open only for Canva certified creatives, but now it's open to everybody that goes onto their website. So do check that out if you need any tutorials, designschool.canva.com, and you can work through all of their tutorials to give you a little bit more information about how to use it, because there is so much more to it than meets the eye. A little note about the difference between free and pro. Okay, pro, it's a no-brainer. Okay, you've got folders of organization that you just don't get. You get 3, I think, in the free. You get millions of photographs for free. There is absolutely no comparison, and the potential in Canva Pro is so much more. So without a doubt, it's worth paying, whether you pay monthly or yearly. £10 a month. So Canva's ethos is design anything, publish anywhere, and it's making huge changes towards that. Okay, we can add so much now, whether it's your Google Maps, you can present, you can cut out, you can do so many different things with Canva that it is a no-brainer. Okay, and the best way to do this and to learn how to use Canva is learn and practice. Okay, so what's next? The simple rule is you don't have to be on every new social platform or social media platform as it pops up, okay? So whether you're on TikTok or not, stick to what is not about what you love, it's about where your ideal clients are, okay? So my ideal clients are on LinkedIn predominantly and Instagram for 2 different reasons, okay? Find out where they are, and that's where you need to be hanging out, okay? Just because you might like TikTok and you like to waste, 48 hours watching it back to back, doesn't mean you need to be on there for your business, okay? So just don't get shiny object syndrome with this as well, okay? Consistency, sticking to the couple of platforms you decide, and consistency pays with the algorithm, full stop. So there's a brand book that you might want to have. I'm not too sure where you guys are with your branding. You're welcome to grab it. This brand book that I offer you guys is basically to bring all of your branding together, and it really builds up the feel of your brand. And it's not just about the colors. Branding is so much more, and we talk about your unique thing. I was talking the other day about a mentor I worked with a couple of years ago, and her thing, she was obsessed with flamingos, and in the background when she was on her Zooms, she had this big sticker of a flamingo. And then she found these like super fans after she'd been working for some time, and everywhere they went and found a flamingo, they would like take a picture and tag her. They are like super fans of her just because of that flamingo. It stands out, and they were like, oh, is that connection with her? So if you've got a thing, don't be afraid of sharing that thing with your audience, because that for them means that they feel they know you. Okay, people like to feel like they are part of your world. And it's a strange online thing that happens, that you don't often meet many of these people, but yet they want to have that connection, and it's really important to build that connection. So yeah, if you want to grab that brand book, that is the link, bit.ly Canva branding book. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to just stop my share screen there, and then I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Paul. And let me know how you got on with that. I'm not sure about
wonderful, but thank you. That was great, Nicky. I really enjoyed that. I think it was really interesting listening to the kind of different tips and what have you. With the kind of Canva posting and you talk about consistency and what have you, would you say that there's a kind of magic formula of how many times people should be posting a day, a week, and stuff like that?
Oh, right. Well, that's really interesting, because it depends on what platform.
Yeah.
So I had an Instagram coach come in to me yesterday into my membership group and talk. And she said, regarding stories, for example, when you get to 7 to 8 stories, there's a massive drop off of 80% of people that don't look at your stories after that time. Okay. So she recommended for stories, for example, is 7 to 8.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, because you're only going to be, everything you post on social media is only going to be seen by 3 or 4% of your connections. Mm-hmm. So I'm just about to promote a challenge that I'm doing, and so I will be promoting at least 20 times a day.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would say minimum 4 times a day, but I'll be doing 20 times a day.
Okay. That's interesting, actually, because I was talking. We had a thing yesterday, and we were talking about the consistency levels and what have you. And somebody asked me, like, how many times do you post on social media a day? And I said, well, I make a commitment that I do at least 4 posts every single day to keep it there. And people are like,
amazing.
Wow. You're like, how do you do that? And it's kind of like, well, you just get in the flow of it. And if I can do more, then you do more. But it's interesting to get other people's opinions on that.
Yeah, and it's very much based on your online strategy.
Yeah.
You know, what is the purpose of posting? You know, it's quite a big subject, that, isn't it? And when you know what you're posting, I mean, I've got a massive board. I'm just going to show you guys how I do it. Yeah. So I've got a massive board here on my thing, and I know what my messaging is every single day. So therefore it takes that problem out, doesn't it? Because you think, right, I know what I'm talking about. So just, you know, bash on the keyboard and ta-da, you've got your message out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a very common way, isn't it? And a lot of people that I've spoke to use that method. I just put mine in a Word document, so everyone's got their way of doing it.
Oh, everyone's got their way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you mind posting those links up into the group for our other members as well, Nicky? Is that okay?
Of course I would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've just added it in here, but I'll go into the community and do that as well.
Fantastic. And obviously you've spoken about your memberships and what have you. How can people get hold of you, and how can people talk to you a little bit further about what you can offer?
Okay then, right. Well, if they follow me on LinkedIn, that's the biggest thing, really, because then they will see my content, and then they will know whether they like my world. I'm running a power hour challenge, and I don't know whether you guys have heard about power hours. Mm-hmm. Some businesses run them, some businesses don't, and I've just done a beta test of this challenge to get people that aren't bringing their money in, but so desperately want to bring some money in, to hone in on one problem, one solution, and one service. So I'm doing that on the 22nd of June. But if people connect with me via LinkedIn, and I can add my LinkedIn information in here, or obviously in the group they can find me, and see my content and see if it talks to them. That's my main sort of thing I would share with you guys, is just put out your content and your ideal clients will find you.
Yeah.
But you have to put the information out there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a strategy that I committed to about a year or so ago, and I've seen the levels kind of rise almost 200%, to be fair. But
and going live as well. Going live is massive on LinkedIn, especially.
Yeah, it's I think the only thing from my perspective is that it's definitely not an overnight thing, and I think that's probably worth mentioning as well, isn't it? That
it's a hard one really, because it did happen very quickly for me when I implemented it back in February, March time. It's when I got my messaging right, when I got my ideal client right, and when I was putting all that information out, it did happen very, very quickly. But I've got clients that I work with that it's taken much, much longer, maybe even 12 months, and then they see the momentum happening. So it's about staying power. And if your ideal client is seeing you being consistent, they will know that you are there. So they might not need you when they first see you or the second time they see you, but they might need you down the line, and they will remember you. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great advice. Has anybody got anything that they would like to? I always say to people, does anyone want to come off mute? It's never the most popular thing.
We need to have like going live kind of like little thing going on, don't we, to try and get people's courage up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We've had a few people that have come up. But if anyone's got any questions, please feel free now. If not, as always, thanks so much for joining us, Nicky. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Any questions outside of this and in your community, Paul, like just tag me, and then I'll be around to answer anything.
Definitely. Well, look, it looks like everybody's very happy with it, and thank you so much so much for your time today, and thanks to everyone that's joined us. There's obviously all about our networks. If you're not a part of it, come and get involved at the Business Support Network on Facebook and on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Paul.
Absolute pleasure.